Hey guys, it's Greg Jones for Engine Builder, and we are here at Sick Week. It is day 3, and we're in Gainesville. Today I'm joined by RC Flint, and between us here is a turbocharged 414 cubic inch L8T engine, and it's our Engine of the Week.
Engine Builder's Engine of the Week is sponsored by Pen Grade 1, L-Ring DOS Original, and NPW.
RC, thanks so much for giving us some time here. It's bright and early, day 3 here at Gainesville. And I've been seeing the Honda here with the L8T in it for the last couple of days and wanted to know more about it. So if you would, walk us through kind of the history of this particular combo for you and how long you've had it.
So we've had this particular combo, we've had right at 2 years. So originally, I was into the 4-cylinder stuff. These things had a 2-liter 4-cylinder, really kind of a cool engine, but stupid expensive to find. And I can't leave stuff alone, so I was blowing them up left and right. And so I had heard this thing about, LS engines, they can handle 1,000 horsepower and they're a $400 junkyard engine. Like, well, that works. So did the $400 junkyard engine. Well, then of course that wasn't enough. So then I kept turning it up, was blowing those up left and right. So then we built this. So it's a Dart Pro block. It's got a GM 6.6 liter L8T center weighted crank. So a $400 crank from GM, which is pretty cool. Molnar rods, 6/200 rods, so kind of a little bit longer rod, and then an off-the-shelf Wiseco piston, BTR cam, and it's got a really good set of Brodix 6-bolt heads on it that Fountain Race Engines does a CNC program for. So put that together, and then so now we're right back to kind of the expensive engine again, but now it handles 1,800 horsepower to the tire and doesn't give us any trouble.
Yeah, it only stays cheap for so long.
Exactly. We've got it pretty down pat now where we go a full season, full year. We usually do about 300 to 400 passes a year, and then we usually do about 20,000 miles a year in it. So we're able to go a whole year without refreshing it. So we actually just refreshed it just recently, and everything looked fantastic, which is, for a motor, we turn this thing 8,500 RPMs. Like I said, makes between 1,700 to 1,800 depending on what we're doing, and it's reliable. It really has been an awesome engine.
Now, RC, you mentioned the cam. Do you happen to know some of the specs of the cam you got?
Yep, so I'm not familiar with all of it. I know it's a 629 lift on both intake and exhaust, and then we've got it set up at a I want to say it's a 114 load separation. Other than that, I'm not a super cam guy. I usually leave it up to Nick over at BTR. Nick and Paul at BTR are really awesome. They helped us with this combo. When we had on the dyno, it made peak power at 8,300, which is, pretty awesome.
Yeah, for sure. And then you mentioned the Brodix heads. How about some of the other valve train components that you run?
So that was actually one thing that we had. So it's got BTR's Ultimate Platinum springs in it. We've shimmed them up a little bit to get some seat pressure because it is still a hydraulic roller. So it's got a Johnson short travel lifters in it. We've got the spring pressure bumped up to about 240 or so on the seat closed. And it's got a set of, so we were having an issue where after 7,500, power would tank the whole 9 yards. It was floating the intake valves because it does have I want to say it's a 2165 intake valve, I believe. Big valve, heavy valve, a lot of RPM in this thing, and it's still a hydraulic roller, so it doesn't have a ton of spring pressure. So we ended up putting a set of titanium valves in it, and that made all the world difference. Valve train's a lot happier now. It's really been a big difference for us.
Now, RC, I don't want to ignore the turbo out here in front because it looks like it's a pretty sizable one.
It is. It's one of Jose's from FIS. It's one of their 98 no times. So 98 on the compressor side. It's got their 116 turbine side. That's what makes it all happen. This thing just has to be a brute horse, and survive. That's what makes all the power.
And about how much boost are you guys running on the track?
We're at about 40 pounds.
Okay. Yeah, pretty good. All right, now I do want to bring up one thing that people watching at home would never know is that a little over a month ago, you guys had a fire in the car and it torched quite a bit of it, but you guys have, really done a nice job getting it back to a point where no one would really know that. So talk about kind of what happened there.
So we've been prepping for Sick Week for 6 months. Really, it's been all about this event. We had come up, we had tested in Gainesville, we had tested in Orlando, Bradenton, South Georgia, we've been everywhere. And then the last event that we wanted to do was Cleetus's Christmas tree race. So back on December 22nd, we got into the Christmas tree race to have a great time. We did it last year, had a blast, wanted to do it again this year. So we had just got the car wrapped that same day. So it was like the debut of the car. And unfortunately we had my fault, but fuel rail bolt that came loose. And so number 2 injector popped out the bottom, sprayed fuel, ignited it, and it torched everything from about here over and there back all the way into the interior as well. I certainly learned a lot, of sealing things up better. So that's why you see all the firewall grommets and everything. I mean, so that was I want to say it was 37 or 38 days ago now. It has been an absolute thrash because it melted a lot of stuff, and it melted stuff that was really old, that the technology isn't really there anymore. Like we were on an old engine software, an old harness of stuff I couldn't even get replacement pieces for it. And so we had to completely change everything, all the sensors, all the data, the computer. So I mean, when I say like we had a ton of people that came together to help us out, really Motion Raceworks, absolutely awesome. They supplied all the right sensors for us. We got the sensor blocks up there. I wired the car myself, and it's the first time I've ever wired a car. So those things made it possible because they make the wiring a quarter of what you normally have to do. So it really helped out a lot. Bradenton Performance Supply helped us out. He built all the lines for the car to help me. Good buddy Lou, my buddy Adam, a bunch of people came in from out of town. If I'm not saying their names, I'm sorry, but it took a small village, it really did. So we got the car finished up on Sunday at about 2:30 in the morning. I've never tuned Fuel Tech before, so we just couldn't get it anywhere for dyno or anything like that. So Sunday morning, we were driving from Bradenton to Orlando. I'm on the highway trying to tune it the best that I could between there and there. During the rebuild of the past month, one of the big things that I had to do was get the cage so our plan was to come here and go fast, like real fast, bottom sevens. So the cage was recertified 25.2 spec, so it's certified to a 6.0 at 3,200 pounds. Got that certified, right before we came here. Was not able to get my license processed though, so I only have a 750 license. So unfortunately, it's limited us now to 750.
Yeah, that's a bummer, but
it is.
That's still a pretty nice pass.
It is not bad. So yesterday we turned in a 752. So we're pretty spot on the number after only a few passes on the car. So we're happy, very happy. I mean, the car is done very, very well.
Very good. Now, RC, obviously, you were saying before we got on camera that this isn't your first drag and drive. You've done all the Sick Weeks.
Yep, we've done all the Sick Weeks since they started. We've done Drag Week. We did Drag Week 2021, Drag Week 2022, and then all the Sick Weeks.
Yeah, very good. Well, like I said, unfortunately, you're limited to that 750 this week, but it sounds like you're hitting right around that number and doing good with 1,800 horsepower on tap. So RC, obviously, you guys kind of just went through a rebuild, so to speak. You were forced into it. But what do you think might be next for the car? What's on your mind about kind of the next level?
Next goals for us, we're going to upgrade the turbo a little bit. There's a couple size bigger turbo that we can go with, so we're going to do that. The ultimate goal is for this car, we want to go sixes and keep the car independent rear suspension. So that's kind of the big thing about this car is it's not a four link, it's still got an IRS suspension, which is really kind of unusual. So we want to be the first car. It's currently the world's fastest IRS S2000. We want to be the first one into the sixes.
Yeah, very cool. Well, RC, appreciate the time. You got an awesome car here, awesome engine, and we wish you the best of luck going forward this week.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Guys, we appreciate you guys watching this episode of Engine of the Week. As always, make sure you're checking out enginebuildermag.com for more great engine content, and we'll see you guys next time.